All right, YouTubers, check this one out. For a while, I've been wanting to do a gun video. That rifle in the middle was made in Ishapur, India in 1965. It's a copy of the old British jungle carbine. The rifle in the middle is chambered in 308. The rifle on bottom is an original, well, it's not original, it's been sporterized, but it's a British 303 Enfield from the war days. And the rifle at top is a 1943, September 43, 03A3 Springfield. It's a Remington Springfield 03A3. So just real quick, the rifle at the top, I found a few years ago at a pawn shop. And I got a really good deal on it. And when I paid for it, I asked the guy to give me any information he could, because I said I understood I may have issues with it. He said, Mr. Brown, he said, the lady that brought this in was about our age. She carried it in by the muzzle. The stock was hanging towards the floor. And she said, we found this in my grandfather's closet. We didn't even know that he had it. And then he looked at me and he said, Mr. Brown, I'm just going to tell you that I got a really good deal on it, and so did you. And I would have to agree. And I will just tell you that this 03A3, with the iron sights at 200 yards, I could shoot better groups with it than my Remington American in 30-06 with a Leupold scope on it. So I gave that Ruger American to my son-in-law. We were stationed up there in Maine, and I kept this beautiful 03A3. Now, I will say there are no arsenal marks on the stock anywhere. I think this rifle had been refurbished, and I think it had been refurbed at Arsenal because the date on the barrel was 943. And through some reading and research, I found that some of the barrels back then that were slated for sniper rifles were 4-groove barrels instead of 2-groove barrels. And this rifle has a 4-groove barrel on it. And I'm telling you, everything I put in it shoots like quarter-size groups at 200 yards. So anyways, so that's that. So now this rifle down here, I don't know a lot of history on it. It says Ishapur 1919, SMLE 3. And you know, there's a bunch of different versions of these old 303s, right? This one has the original sights on it. Trying to do this one-handed here. Okay. I have not fired this rifle. I haven't had it long. I'll tell you just a brief history on this one. A very good man that I work with. Really good fella. His father-in-law passed away. And his wife said, I don't want anything to do with that. So he gave this rifle to me. And I have plans to pass this down and take good care of it. I have contemplated taking it back to the original military configuration, as the front sight is the same in the rear. But I'm telling you right now, these stocks trying to find in decent shape nowadays, and a lot of guys are taking the old sporterized models back to the military. It's hard to find these in a good price. So let me pause this for a minute and regroup here, and we'll talk about this one. Okay, so we're back on this 7.62 by 51 chambered jungle carbine copy. So last Thursday night, one of my favorite YouTubers was live streaming, Blackie Thomas, and a question came up about these rifles. And I know Blackie had said his favorite was the 03A3, and I absolutely agree with that. That's my favorite as well. And then some talk came into these jungle carbines. Okay. Initially, these were manufactured for like 2 years by Great Britain during the war, 45 and 46 or 44 and 45, something like that. And they were chambered in the 03 cartridge, which is this one. And then at some point, when India started doing these rifles, they started chambering them in 308. I want to say in the 60s, and I could be wrong. I've read all this history, but it's been a while, and I'm not digging it all out. I just want to show you guys the fun stuff, right? So here's .303 British, .308 Winchester, or 7.62 by 51, pretty close to the same. This was the 30-06 round. Okay. Now the 03A3, I load it with 5-round stripper clips. The Jungle Carbine here, I bought these magazines. These magazines were brand new from Numrix, and they were not cheap. But let me just tell you, they were worth it, because when I put them in there, I blued them up. I blued the lips up a little bit and seen where they weren't fitting right, and I was able to Dremel those a little bit and make those magazines work great. So these are 10-round mags for the 308 7.62 by 51 cartridge. And here's an original magazine for the 0303. So just slightly different. This is a 10-round mag as well, but due to the rim, they're shaped a little different. So we'll set that aside. Set these aside. Now, here's what I did. Here was the cool thing about this rifle. I will try to link the original video I did a couple years ago, putting this A2 birdcage flash hider on. So this had the bell, and it just had a pin that kept it in here, and I took it off and I machined it. I machined almost a pound out of the front sight and the flash hider, and I just didn't like it. So I thought, you know what? I love the A2 birdcage flash hider, so I'm just going to machine one to fit on here. And what I actually did was I machined it to a sleeve, threaded it to here, and then I put this on, and then I pinned it on. This is pinned on, so I can take this off and put the original flash hider back on if I choose. Now, a couple of things here. This right here is a factory original Springfield forward scope mount for an 18-inch barreled M1A Scout Squad rifle. Okay, the 18-inch barrel, not the 16. A lot of people get those confused. The Socom is the 16. I had the 18. This is a factory mount, and the profile of this barrel and the M1A 18-inch were the same. So I was able to use the factory. Listen, that forward mount on those M1As aren't worth a hoot, because it makes the rifle front end heavy. And if you shoot it hard and fast, it gets hot and you have issues with the optics. I tried 4 different optics on that M1A. That forward mount on the M1A is kind of ridiculous if you're really shooting it and using it. So anyways, and then I bought the PSA Gen 3 AR-10 from Palmetto and fell in love with that. So I sold that M1A 18-inch, but I kept the mount because this baby rocks. It's a 2.75 by 20 Burris. And it's a forward mount, and I did that so we could use the 10-round stripper clips and feed the mag. This is a great truck gun right here. I think the overall length on this is about 39 inches long. 308, 7.62 by 51. And so yeah, I just wanted to show this this setup. The M1A Scout Squad mount will go on the Ishapore made 308 chamber Jungle Carbine from 1965. Let me see if I can get on there and see that. Let me pull a flashlight out here and see if we can. It says, yeah, there we go. 1965 rifle. And somewhere here it says Ishapore. Anyways, so this rifle I picked up somewhere between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids is a Western store that used to have a gun store in it. And I went in there and they had it listed as 7.62 by 39. And they had a $400 price tag on it. It said no magazines. And I think I lowballed them. And then they came down, and then they found out I was a vet, and they gave me a discount on it again. So I got this rifle for about $360 out the door. I had to buy 2 mags for it. I think the 2 mags I bought for this from Numrich, I want to say were about $120 for both mags. But anyways, they all work. So to fit this, all I had to do was let this wood out a little bit here. Okay, just from about here to here. This was originally in here at some point, like so. Pop that out. It's just got these spring clips on it. This piece I had left and it looked really cool, but I didn't realize there's not much wood that was holding it together. And I took it out of the case one day, and the way I picked it up, it just flopped right off. So that's how I should probably take the time to redo that and fix that, but it doesn't really matter. This is a shooter for me. So, yeah, there it is. And let me pause this for a minute while I try to remember if there's anything else specific I want to tell you about this rifle. Oh, you know what? I will tell you this. The original sight that came on this, okay, it goes over the barrel, and it's just pinned in. You can see the pin right here. Yeah, I just drove the pin out and slid it off the barrel once the original flash hider was off. And then that fit right in place. So, yeah, it's an easy conversion to make this 308 Jungle Carbine copy a scout gun. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to try to get to the range in the next day or two and shoot this. I have taken it to the range in the past since I put that scope on it, and I took 6-inch groups at 100 yards down to about 2 inches with the scope. And they, you know, those old Enfields, they've all got this bad reputation for bad groups and shit. They call them bullet hoses and whatnot, but I think it really had to do with the sights. The sights on it were junk. If you'd have put a rear peep on that old Enfield at the rear like the old 3A3, you probably would have got a lot better groups out of it. But yeah, so anyways, just want to thank that live stream from Blackie Thomas last Thursday, I think, which was May 1st or 2nd. And some of the guys, I think Tim Pierce was another one that had some of the questions about this. So I was like, oh, there's a light bulb. I need to show these guys this rifle because it's easily done. So, all right, stay tuned. We'll get some shooting on this rifle this week, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Bye.